Hello and welcome to the second session of Academy of the Blade. Academy of the Blade is a Hearts of Wulin stretch goal setting. This is very much inspired by Revolutionary Girl Utena and other weird school anime like Occult Academy and even Bunny Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. I can't remember what the full incorrect name of that anime is, but it's delightful and terrifying at the same time. But we are going to start. Last time we did character creation. We found that our students were in this fifth dormitory. We're going to have them kind of frame where they are and what their entanglements are in just a moment. Just so you know, this session is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts, which is an online gaming club / community. People can sign up to playing games. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. We are using a set of safety tools. We have layers where we have an open door policy with the X card, and then we have lines and veils, which establish some baselines for our characters. And let me just quickly go through this so we're reminded. We have hard lines on dental horror, sexual assault, suicide, torture, virus, plague, pandemics, student-teacher relationships, and underage relationships. And then veils on graphic gore or sexual content. And then ask first for bullying or harm to animals, which I think is super reasonable. So those are on there, sort of our baseline. X card is used to supplement that if we hit something that maybe trends towards that or something that we didn't think of, that we can mark it on that. So what I want to do is go through the character keeper and have players quickly elevator pitch who they are, and especially what their entanglements are. I think that's the most important. Before I get to that, so students moved into this new mysterious fifth dormitory. Some of them, 3 of them, found cards that had their images worked into them that seemed like tarot-like cards with different suits that were shown. One of our characters has not yet found, but he may have had something of a temper tantrum last time, and so that may explain that. There were some weird things about the campus, but the important thing is that they've been told that tomorrow, and this would be the evening of the first day, is the reception for the chairman of the school who is returning, and who will be gathering people. Are going to be doing presentations, and highly placed people are supposed to give little speeches and things like that. And strangely enough, you know, all of you have been given invitations to this, which in some of your cases makes sense because you're wonderful people. In other cases, it seems a little odd. But we'll come back to that. So I am going to, I think I started with Sherry last time, so I'm going to click to the left here. And Patrick, please tell us the quick elevator pitch of who you are and what your current entanglements are. And if you're happy with them, because if you want to change them, we can change them now.
So I'm Patrick, he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Johnny Wynn, who also is he, him pronouns. He's the dropout playbook with the game breaker subtype, and basically he's like technically a year ahead from the class, a year before everyone else here. The mysterious sort of sophomore class, which there was something that happened last year. No one talks about it / everyone talks about it. And there aren't very many of them left. Johnny spent most of last year in a coma in the weird medical ward here in the school, and now has to like retake all of these freshman classes and live with the freshmen in this stupid, haunted, renovated freshman dorm, even though other people that survived it, like Brandon, are for some reason like a class ahead, and everyone thinks he's important, or at least he thinks he's important. He's really just like a desk jockey in the office or whatever. I don't even care. But I went and I talked to a lot of people last time about like my assignment here in this freshman dorm, and it's really dumb and I hate it, but whatever, I guess I'm stuck here. or something because the school's stupid, archaic administration. Let's see. Entanglements. I love Takahiro, but they're loyal to my enemy, Brandon. But Takahiro is just wonderful. Like, he's just big and violence and hates orders and structures and pre-existing anything. Just tear it all down and make it anew. And he's great. Doesn't even really look at me that much, but he's real great. And then Scarlet has heard of my reputation as a fighter, has begged me to train her for a fight against Kim, and there's some unrequited tensions, I think, going on in the background there too. And other than that, I really want to find a secret passage somewhere this session.
You will have the chance. Are you happy with both those entanglements?
I am. I don't feel like we've played through either of them much, so I'd still want to explore both.
Okay. And then let's come to Scarlet Albescu.
Just jumping all over. Okay.
No, I clicked one and then I'm going back. So it's like a carriage return.
All right. I didn't realize. That's awesome. So my name is Sherry. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing Scarlet Albescu. She is also using she, her pronouns just for the time being. Her role is student council rep. Specifically, she is the freshman class president. Her current entanglements are Johnny Wynn is my heart. I cannot take my eyes off of him, but everyone agrees that Brandon and I would make the perfect couple. And that Kem, student council secretary, is gearing up to challenge me to a duel, but he knows something about Johnny and I need to find out what that is first.
Excellent. And you're happy with both of those?
I'm very Johnny-centric, so yes, I'm very happy with it.
Okay. That brings us to our other rebel, Takahiro.
Right. He is such a sweetheart. I don't think he realizes he's a rebel. So Takahiro Santos is they use he, they pronouns, and he is the delinquent, specifically the beast, which means he has a really dangerous side, which we may get into today, because he's very nice to the people he likes. If he's like a very well-intentioned himbo that has a penchant for violence, basically. So, and he has a baseball bat which has the words boyfriend spray painted on it, because he and Brandon used to be a thing, but then he intervened during a duel in order to protect Brandon, and things went really, really badly. So now Takahiro doesn't need Brandon. He just needs his bat, is what he tells himself. That's absolutely not true. And aside from that, his entanglements in general are I love Brandon, but only know how to express it through attempting to bully them. And only Scarlet knows of my true feelings, but I don't know that Scarlet knows. There's a lot that Takahiro doesn't know. So, and I feel protective of Cass, and I angered someone dangerous, Miss Jasper, in order to protect Cass. And Miss Jasper gives me the creeps. So I'm very happy with my entanglement.
Excellent. And that brings us to Cass then.
Hello. My name is Daryl. My pronouns are he, him, and I am playing Cassian Cass Burncastle, whose pronouns are also he, him. He's the Club Ace playbook and the Faust sub book from that one. Basically, Cass's look is based off of an inversion of the old quote, there's nothing in the rule book that says a boy can't wear a girl's uniform. That's because he is in love with frills and lace. He has a severe princess cut and he has androgynous features, though he still uses he, him pronouns, but he will pretty much accept anything because he looks fabulous anyway. Cass's backstory is that he's always lived in the shadow of his older sister, Alex, who has already graduated the academy and gone on to great things. No one has ever expected anything of Cass, and he's desperate to achieve the power offered by the academy to demand recognition for himself. He'll also sabotage pretty much anybody to achieve his goals. But other than that, he's a really nice guy. Everybody seems to love him. You know, he's so friendly. He's so nice. He's got these these underlings who follow him around, Christy and Agatha. They're great too. And then as far as the entanglements go, my romantic entanglement is that every person I have ever loved has instead fallen for my best friend Scarlett, including my latest crush Rudra. And then my general one is that my sworn enemy Johnny has now become my school assigned roommate, displacing my other best friend Manhattan.
And literature club, right? You are the president of that. So we take up. It is that night of you settling in. I just want to check if anybody has anything they want to do, after when darkness falls. But let's start with Johnny, because you were sort of in a huff last time. What do we see you?
I was righteously angry at injustices done to me through the system.
And where do we see you? Do you come back to the room?
I mean, yeah, I don't technically have anywhere else to sleep right now. But I'm not like talking to Cass.
Okay. So Cass, describe what the room looks like since you've had time to organize it. What does Johnny see when he returns?
Well, what was before kind of like this like severe architectural style with like Rococo dressings has now become like a pastel fairyland. There's like what was originally just like large beds have now been replaced with canopy beds for some reason. You're not really sure how they swung that, but they did it. And everything is like, there's like a small table with like a 3-tier like tea service that has nothing but cake on it. And then also there's just a line of like purple duct tape down the middle of the room. And then like all of the frills and beauty are on one side. And then like, you're not sure, but for some reason your side looks even more stark than it did before.
Smudgy, dirty.
Sound of a crow in the background when I look at that half of the room.
Yes. So you will go and lay yourself down, and on screen we see you kind of move your pillow, and the others we've seen on screen find a card underneath it, but there's nothing underneath your pillow. So we're going to leave that as a hanging detail for the moment here. Do you turn in?
There, he lays down in bed, and like it's the only other option would maybe be to talk to Cass or one of the other people. No, he's in bed. He's very uncomfortable. Like the pillow is constantly uncomfortable. Like he keeps shifting it and like turning from side to side. Just very obviously and ostentatiously in a huff.
So I want to check if anyone wants to do anything after dark, or else we'll kind of fade forward to the next day, classes and preparations for this reception. Anything anyone wants to do? Okay, then let's roll forward. Scarlett, what is your we talked about people having different uniforms and having a little bit of variation to that. What do we see you do in the morning? How do you look? You're muted, Scarlett.
How do I look in the morning?
Yes. What does your uniform appear like? What do we see you doing?
Let's see here. Well, her uniform is, of course, the school uniform, but it has been tailored to be, should we say, more perfect. Of course, it fits her perfectly, but it also has, like, the braid is upgraded to finer braid, and everything is, it's been remade in better fabric, in better, all of those things, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
So it's like everyone else is wearing this Sears version. But that's okay. It's still exactly the same styling, right? And so I think that it's like no one ever sees her not in that uniform for the most part, except for, of course, the dance. She might wear a dress, but you never like see her running around in a robe or anything. So she is always ready for action, and I think that's it. Is she just appears out of her door and she's perfect, and she has her little book bag packed, um, and she sort of waits at the top of the stairs for someone to come out so that she has someone to walk down to the dining room with.
Uh, Takahiro, uh, what do we see? I think you're probably the second person for some reason that we maybe not see them, but at least hear them.
Yeah, you hear Takahiro going through his morning exercises. Hua, yeah, huh, from inside the bedroom, and then and then something breaking on the inside. And then opening the door really quickly and getting out. And Takahiro has forgot to put their shirt on, so he goes back in to quickly throw on the coat. But he still forgot the shirt, and he comes back out, and he like nods towards Scarlet.
Yeah, and I think that as you're coming up, she sort of does the thing where she puts her hands up to your lapel, like she's gonna like, you know, straighten your jacket, and then she goes and she'll tap your chest, and she goes, "You're missing something."
And I look down, and I think it's hard to miss all the crisscrossing of scars, and like, but it's hot today, Scarlet. So hot.
She goes, "It'll get you so many demerits. Just go and get a t-shirt on. I'll wait."
Takahiro makes all these noises. And he goes in, he gets one. And as an act of rebellion, he comes back out with a crop top.
He's done what I asked of him.
So as those two go downstairs, what is the difference in wake up between Cass and Johnny here? Cass?
I mean, I believe that Cass would probably be a morning riser. So it's just a matter of like, is Johnny the one who like sleeps in and is awoken by like, for some reason, a gramophone that is playing like classical music as my alarm? Or would Johnny be up before me?
I sort of love the idea of waking up to your weird gramophone alarm. And I think Johnny, as like it's getting up to the time for the alarm to go off, he's like in bed, tossing and turning, like sweating, obviously having some sort of nightmare. And then like jerks awake when the very peaceful gramophone goes off.
And I imagine, Cass, that you look perfect already.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like there's the big stretch and then sits up and then like just kind of like brushes the hair out of the side of his face and then sparkles. He's got like perfect like eyeliner already. It's
Absolutely.
Johnny looks like an absolute mess and just sort of like runs his fingers through his hair until it like sticks up weirdly. And I think like as he's getting dressed, he pulls out it's obviously a new like school uniform for this new year. And he pulls it out and just like looks disgusted as whatever like patches or identifying things is just ripping off of it. So there's like outline of stitching from like the school crest or whatever, but it's not there anymore.
I think we'll cut to the four of you finally maybe gathering downstairs. There's a breakfast buffet that has been set up with, you know, the silver chafing dishes and so on, little heated things, and you can feed yourselves there. And you probably realize that this dorm is further out than any of the dorms that any of you are staying in, and so you probably do have to hustle to get to that first class there. But how do you greet each other. Johnny, do you attempt to ingratiate yourself to them, or are you still standing apart?
Yeah, I think he'll give like, "Hey, Takahiro," to Takahiro as he's coming by, but he's somehow pretending that he's walking alone and completely separate from them, even though we're going on the same path to the same place.
Oh, Takahiro won't let that happen though. Takehiro's gonna throw his arms around you. Good morning.
Hey, hi. No, that's fine. Hi.
Hey, hey, good morning. How are you doing? And you can tell Takehiro's like not completely awake, like he's talking in like a dream logic kind of way.
It's fine. I mean, we still got to get the room situation figured out. There's like a dozen other rooms just on our hall. I don't understand what. No, it's fine. It's, it's cool.
Well,
Cool.
we can share a bed. You can share my bed. That's totally cool.
I can, well, I mean, but no, it's just, I just need to find another place for my bed that's not, so filled with sparkles, tool.
Well, I just have a lot of weapons in my room. Should be fine. No sparkles.
Wait, but not like in your bed though.
Oh no, the bed is really comfy and it's big. It's really huge. We could share it. No problem. You don't
Johnny
hog the bed,
suddenly-
do you?
What don't we have a class to get to? Are you wearing a crop top?
Yeah, nice, right? And then like he's like flashing his abs, right?
It's a good top.
Johnny, I think I do have to have you because this is an anime roll your inner conflict at this point.
Nice. It's one of these moves. There it is. It's anything except your style, which is metal. I think maybe Earth, because
Okay.
like as much as he's totally failing to, he wants to pretend like he's cool and with it, and this is just another first day, and he doesn't even care about all this. Oh no, I haven't given any names or anything.
Because I think one of the things is the way that Takahiro is saying this, it's very clear that he views you just as a friend.
That's a 7.
That is a 7. So on a 7 to 9, you can flee, you can mark an element, or you can overreact.
I spent so much of last session fleeing. I think I will mark an element.
All right.
That'd be Earth.
Yeah. So you keep yourself steady here, wipe away the nosebleed. And I think the camera will cut over to Scarlett and Cass watching this. What is it that you two are discussing? Since you're best friends.
They're the very best of friends. I think she stops and says, "Do you think we should put one of the side rooms together as a parlor? A receiving room?"
That would be wonderful. Mommy and Daddy gave me an allowance to buy new furniture, so I'm sure that we could do something impressive with it.
All right. Well, she goes, "I suppose we'll have to start with catalogs."
Yes, of course. And like tucks away his cell phone, which he had like interior designers already pulled up on.
She goes, "I don't know how to use those."
So, I'm sure we could ask someone to figure it out. Christy and Agatha would be the best people to ask about that.
Ooh, hadn't thought of that.
Or we could, just pay someone to do that.
She goes, so how do you get them to carry out your vision then, Cass?
Oh, well, it's very simple. I have a very strong idea in my head, and then I tell them what to do, and then they do it. And then if they do it wrong, I fire them and I hire someone else to do it.
Ooh, that's very forceful. I'm so glad you're my friend.
I'm so glad you're my friend too. By the way, have you heard from Rudra lately?
Well, he carried my books yesterday, but he didn't say much.
He carried your books?
Mm-hmm.
How nice of him. He's such a gentleman.
Well, there were a terrible lot of books. He was very kind.
That is, one of the things that I admire about him. Does he carry your books often?
Well, slightly more often than most of the other boys, yes?
I'm rolling inner conflict.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that anime moment where it's just like, I'm sure that like Scarlet just keeps walking and then like Cass has stopped and is like the dead face, like, and this is,
What do you
I think this
roll
is
that with?
gotta be fire, like
Yeah.
creativity, passion, but also recklessness, alienating and scattered. So that's a +1. Roll the dice. It's a 4.
No.
It is a 4. And I think that is the exact moment when Rudra pops up out of nowhere and kind of grabs Scarlet's book bag off her shoulder. And Scarlet.
Yes. Oh, Rudra, it's so good to see you. Cass and I were just talking about you, and she turns back to where Cass was by her side, and she's not there and looks so confused.
What have you done to what has been your reaction to this? You mark the element, and then what has happened that has kind of pulled you out of this moment?
I think that it's like Rudra and Scarlet are there in front of me, like maybe 10 paces off. And it's the anime thing where it's like, even though I'm standing like perfectly still, like I start to just move off frame.
Yes.
Like I'm fleeing just straight up, like, and you just hear like a cry into the distance, like anime style, like crying.
And I think we'll cut from there to the first class. You have a class together. This is the second quarter, new classes. And so all of you have a class with Mr. Lancet. I've put some teachers in a row on the thing. And Mr. Lancet is teaching a metaphorical analysis of mythological monsters. So essentially, this is an attempt to understand how mythological monsters and creatures and beasts are metaphors for the human condition. And that's really what it's about. There's a lot of like learning what the monsters are and like what their weaknesses are, which has been a little weird, but that's things. So we cut into the scene. He says, so the Uri is a Japanese ghost. They have various principles that we must understand how they fit into the cultural milieu. I have to understand that the Uri, the ghost, often stands for the return of the repressed, for the things which have been put away by people that they've hidden, and yet it comes back to haunt them. We can never truly understand what the ghost's purposes are unless we understand the social context of this. So give me an example of what might cause one of these hauntings, if you can imagine that. Let's start with Takahiro. Was it? Yes. Why? Give me an example from the readings that we've done, what you think is particularly strong. Why you think the Hurai was hunting this particular person?
Losing something, you said? A broken heart?
Broken heart, romance. Classically, in certain of these stories, the Uri is someone who is heartbroken and has died of heartbreak, or they've thrown themselves classically into a pond, not unlike our pond out front, or those sort of things. And then they return to haunt. In some cases, they merely float along behind the person they haunt, watching, never able to do anything. And at that point, we can understand that the ghost itself is a victim as much as the person who's being haunted. Any questions?
How do you kill it?
There are many ways. One, generally, you need to go back to the point of origin, to the point of transformation, to understand and to strike at it. Keep in mind that this is a metaphor, not necessarily real. And in the metaphor, we might ask, why is it that you need to dig up the bones and consecrate them, or have a priest come in and to treat them in these ways? Generally, here are the classifications of them. And we might ask why. You'll find that on page 39 of your book, if you want to look and try and think about exactly what that means to the cultural context. All right, class dismissed. And Mr. Lancet flops himself back down. His clothes are the classic, the teacher whose shirt is ill-fitting, jacket is kind of thing, the tie is loose. You see him sit down, and he clearly is waiting for you to all leave so he can maybe take a brief nap before the next class. So I think, Cass, you will see out in the hall as you go out, waiting there, trying to not look like they're waiting there, is Manhattan. And he's like, hey, Cass.
When I walk over and just immediately clench his wrist and drag him off towards the cafeteria. It's like, you will not believe what happened this morning. Oh my God, it happened again. Scarlet had Rudra carry her books.
Did he at least acknowledge you this time?
There was a nod, but that was it.
What'd you do?
I ran away screaming. Oh my God, I'm so lame.
You gotta do something about this. You gotta talk to Scarlet and tell her.
Tell her what? That every single person that I have ever fallen for has instead fallen for her?
Well, that is what's happening, so maybe that.
I don't know. It might jeopardize our friendship.
Well, tell me about the new dorm.
Oh, spooky, is dirty and then is suddenly clean. Wonderful breakfast buffet. 4 stars.
Oh, all right. That's great. I'm glad you're having a good time over there at the new dorm.
Oh, not at all. My new roommate is Johnny Wynn.
Gasp.
Exactly.
And Christy and Agatha over your shoulder pop up And we heard you called, we heard. It's just, what happened? Did he attack you in the night? What'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do?
It was worse than that. He 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 snores.
All three gasp. Maybe we could get like a face covering, like a shield that you could put over his face at night, something like that. Do you think?
I mean, maybe, but still, it's just I already look so tired.
Oh, no, 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 no. You look at they all like, oh, no, 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 waving their hands. No, 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 you look perfect. You look perfect.
Oh, please stop. No, keep going.
And Christy will say, we've been asked to choose and read a poem for the chairman's return this evening at the reception. So you need to pick something out.
Oh, this is truly a choice. Should we go with something classic, something new and experimental? Oh, my brain is on fire.
And I think we'll see that the four of you kind of huddle in there. Scarlett, what do we see you do after this class? See, Cass immediately takes off to spend time there with Manhattan.
She packs her books up rather slowly, but still so that when Johnny finally walks out the classroom, she can quickly pick up right behind him and follow him to the next class. She enjoys, how should we say, watching how he negotiates the hallways. Yes, that's a polite way of putting it.
So what do we see? Where are you headed, Johnny?
So I think like through most of that class, Johnny was just spaced out for the entirely apropos lecture as he's like furiously drawing in a notebook, and we see sort of he's obviously having like flashbacks to the nightmare that he had. He's like drawing this face of a person he doesn't recognize, and we get these shots of like that person's face and just an echoey over and over again, like Johnny, 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 sort of thing. And I think maybe Scarlett, like you have to like come up and put a hand on his shoulder as he snaps out of it. What?
Oh. You missed your turn.
Shit, is class over?
Yes, it is.
You realize you're out in the hall. You've like robotically walked out. You picked up your books and you're in amongst the students as they're milling about.
And she'll sort of tug at your elbow and take you back a little ways down the hallway and turn you towards where the next class is.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, God, this again.
You seemed very intent. And she will kind of look at the picture. And she'll say, oh, who's that?
I don't know. I mean, nobody. It's nobody. He sort of like folds it up and tries to put it away.
For a nobody, that is a very particular sort of nose.
It was just like a weird dream I had.
Oh.
Listen, I've been through this whole first day thing. It's so awful. Do you want to just like skip the next class and go somewhere else?
Oh my God. I have to call inner conflict.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Perfection or Johnny? All right. Let's do this. Let's see here. Look at I think I have to go with metal, right? Control. This is terrible. All right, so I'm rolling this and adding 1. Okay. And that gives me a 7. Whoo, squeaked by.
Now you have a choice. I mean, are you going to go with him, mark an element, or are you going to demur and rush off to your next class?
I think I'm going to go with him, But I'll sort of turn to Rudra and I'll go, could you take my books to class? Tell the teacher that I have some business I have to take care of for student council.
He takes your books, but side eyes Johnny.
I love the idea that in Scarlett's head, like if her books are there, she's not totally skipping class.
Yeah.
She's managed the situation.
So where do you go, Johnny?
Hey, do you want to try and see what's in some of those locked rooms? I mean, it can't be that bad. Maybe there's some place that like doesn't even need renovating.
All right. Maybe we'll find a secret door.
So yeah, I think we head back to the dorm and like find one of the more closed off wings or hallways of it.
Absolutely. So this is the secret passageway you're declaring?
Yeah, I want to find a way into at least one of these rooms.
Yeah. So do you think the secret passageway is in one of these locked rooms, or do you want a secret passageway into one of them?
Yeah, I picked up as my other move the slipping through locked doors and stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah.
maybe we find a secret passageway inside of one of these rooms
Yeah.
that goes who knows where.
You open up one and there's that sense of dust in here, and like it hasn't clearly been used in a long time and not opened in a long time. Where is the secret door located?
It's like a weird piece of statuary that, like, as we're pulling sheet covers off of things, like pull it off this weird shape, and part of the statue like catches on the sheet and turns.
Yeah, you hit a weird, like maybe statue of a dragon or a snake, and the head turns, and then this door opens up.
Just like in the house at home.
Sort of gives her yeah, normal. This is normal. So we should totally go see what's inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see the two of you vanish into the darkness. Takahiro, what are you up to?
I'm in the corner of the classroom, terrified, thinking about ghosts. I think we realized that Takahiro is afraid of ghosts. And so they're in the corner. I assume the teacher is napping by this point.
Yes.
And Takehiro's like, it's broad daylight, and should be fine. Ghosts are real. It's a simile. He said simile. It's like a thing. Where did everybody go?
Yeah, it's really quiet in the classroom, but for the sound of that snoring. But you'll see through the sort of frosted windows that lead out into the hall, you'll see this figure go past and then stops and then comes and stands at the door.
And Takahiro like slowly takes out the bat. I can hit it with a bat. Didn't he say bat? He said bat, right?
What do you do? Get your bat out? Anime style, it appears from sort of nowhere.
Yeah. Like, and then there's this sound that shouldn't be happening.
Yes. It's a sword drawing sound.
Yeah. And then you realize it's Takahiro making that sound.
Yes.
And then he starts coming towards. I'll have you know, I can kill ghosts. I can kill ghosts.
And you'll see the shape sort of shift, like clearly their hand is reaching out to slide the door open. what do you do?
I'm gonna smash the door and overreact with a wah kind of sound.
I think you'll hit that and smash that, and I think that's the moment that we see Miss Jasper.
Like in slow-mo of like my face crumpling in.
And she like stares at you. There's that long pause of the two of you looking at each other, and then she does the thing where she now slides the door open.
Miss Jasper, I was renovating.
Mr. Santos. Well, I think you know where we're going. Let us go to the detention.
But
And she will start walking you that way when you see Brandon approaching.
hey, stupid, I say towards Brandon.
And Brandon kind of looks at you, and Miss Jasper stops and goes, "Excuse me?"
I said good morning in another language. It's a video game language.
Uh-huh. And Brandon will approach and will say, "Miss Jasper, there's a call for you in the office." And Jasper says, "All right, you're on the council. Why don't you escort Mr. Santos up to detention?" And Brandon nods, and Miss Jasper heads off.
I don't expect me to thank you or anything.
Why would I?
You're not? Like you weren't being well, I don't care. I'm not happy to see you.
Not happy to see you either. Straightens himself up. Come, I have other better things to do than deal with you today.
Fine. You look terrible, by the way. And I'm trying to trigger my move. It's not like I like you or anything.
I think that's perfect. Let's have you roll.
Okay.
What do you want to roll that with?
I really love Brandon. So I think I'm gonna roll with fire. I have my innate manly fire of passion in me for Brandon. So that's rolling with a +2. Okay. Oh, what did it? 10.
A 10.
Nice.
So there is that moment where we see Brandon is kind of watching you, seeing you, and you've been kind of unpleasant and bullying him for a while, but now we see you two in the elevator riding up to the detention. So how are you?
I miss you.
I couldn't, not with the way you act.
You were more fun before the student council. You didn't. This isn't you, whatever this is.
I've changed. And he reaches out his hand and he touches your shoulder and he says, "You could change too."
Oh, I think this is an inner conflict moment for me.
Okay.
Am I going to get upset or listen? Okay. Okay. So not with my style elements. I'm trying to, I guess I'm trying to like calm down the fire with the water, I think.
Okay.
Okay. Rolling. Oh, it's a 12.
You
I'm gonna
hold
be so
yourself
bad during the duel. I know it. I just know it.
completely. And he said, kind of steps forward, closing that space between you, and kind of looks, and you see he kind of reaches out and touches the crop top. And he says, "You just have to do it for me." And the doors open, and he says, "I think you know the rest of the way." And he steps out of the elevator. Do you say anything?
I think I have to justify that 12. I
Yeah,
reach
he
out.
really. Yeah.
I justify that 12. I'm gonna reach out and grab his hand and say, just wait for me until I catch up with you. Okay?
And he doesn't pull his hand away. And he stands there for a moment and he says, "I can't wait forever, but I will wait." And then he draws his hand back. And that's when the elevator door shut.
And then Takahiro goes into that bench, like anime pose, of like on the ground.
Let's take 5 and we'll come back with Cass, all right?
I'm trying to find where you set the picture of your profile so that I can have the picture of my character like Johnny and Cass do.
Okay, but the important thing is remembering to change it back before you have a work meeting tomorrow.
I don't use Zoom.
I have
For work.
I have like a 9 a.m. tomorrow, and so I like literally like had to set myself a reminder, change that back before.
Yeah, a pink-haired anime girl might be hard to explain. Or
It's
purple
quarantine.
hair, yeah. So,
It's
or
like
maybe
my
it's not hard.
yeah, my excuse would just be it's quarantine. Does it
Yeah,
matter anymore?
doesn't matter. Lol, you're muted.
I know. I said something funny, and it
Really?
was so witty.
Now we've all missed it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Cass, where do we see you? Do we want to see a club scene with you? Do you want to talk to your mentor, or something else?
Yeah, I think that I would actually like to have that elevator scene now. I think that, you know, we have like a quick cutaway of like, you know, I'm like waving jollily at the others, like, bye, I'll see you in literature club later. And then I get in the elevator and like the tonal shift.
And we see you go up. What tells us that this is a different elevator than sort of the public one that we just saw Takahiro and Brandon in?
Well, I like the idea that it is definitely like the old-fashioned like birdcage kind, where like it goes up and it's like the wrought iron gates, and it seems to be going especially slowly.
Mm-hmm. There is that thing whenever you step in, there's that creak, like the bottom of the elevator could fall out at any moment. Always kind of worries you. But it rise up and the gates will open. And what do we see? Like, where do you meet? Do we see Miss Jasper, or is she concealed in shadows, or what do we think we see here?
I actually like the idea that it's an old like rotary phone, like that's just on a pedestal in the middle of the
Absolutely.
elevator.
And you talk to her as it's going and going and going, and there'll be a thing when you step in, the door shut and the phone rings.
And I pick it up and I don't even say anything. I just listen.
So, have you decided what you want?
There are so many things that I want. You get brief flashes of like Rudra, like a room to themselves, and then like a silhouette of Alexis off in the distance.
There are many things you want, but which of them do you need?
I want to overcome all of this. I want to graduate.
Then you must continue your path. You've been placed the new dormitory is a new wrinkle.
A wrinkle. Does that mean you didn't have something to do with it?
If I did what I tell you,
No, I don't think I've ever gotten a straight answer from you.
there are 4 dormitories. That has been the way since I can remember, but now a 5th, a wild card.
A wild card. Like briefly flashes back to that tarot card. I think that the next thing I need to do is to just start taking what I want. I would like to know who has Scarlet's heart.
Let's have you roll.
Okay. So this is water, I think. This is, flowing and plotting. So that's +1. I got a 4 again. I leveled up.
She says, Johnny Wynn has her heart, and she has his. You must do something to break the bond between them if you are going to step forward.
I think there's like the clack of the receiver and the ding of the elevator.
And it opens, and the elevator's been moving. We've seen it move, but it opens onto that same hallway that we saw when you stepped in. I'm going to cut from that. I think we get a flash in your mind of Scarlett and Johnny, and then we actually cut to the two of them fairly close to each other because this hall is kind of narrow. And we see you two scooting along. Johnny, where does this lead to? You get to choose.
Oh, I like the idea of something underground.
Like a chamber underground?
Yeah.
I think you will follow this down, and it goes a ways. Like clearly you're no longer underneath the dormitory, and then it will open up, and there is a room, and you can see that there are, first you think maybe like endless pool things for a second, like your mind takes that, but you'll see there are these many clear, like aquarium things, big enough for someone to go in, like just a little bit bigger than, say, a coffin, let's say. All of them filled with crystal clear water. And there are about a dozen of them there. And the thing that you will notice is this sound of dripping. And you'll realize that maybe it's a trick of the light here, but it's almost like the water drips upward.
I mean, that's obviously not happening.
Right.
And are these like on the ground or
Yeah, they're set on the ground. They're, maybe say 7 feet by 3 feet, maybe another 3 feet tall, set onto the ground. The water is there. It's cold in here.
So I think Johnny is like kneeling down by the first one of them, sort of like casually peering through the glass and like tapping on it as he's saying over his shoulder to Scarlett. So what did you do to piss off Kim anyways?
Nothing. So I suppose I'm in between him and something he wants.
Must really want it for like a big public duel like that?
Don't you want something that much?
Yeah, I guess.
Me too.
Johnny, as you're looking through that tank and kind of looking, it's kind of dark in here. There's a little bit of kind of a greenish glow from light to the side, but you realize there's something on the floor on the other side of that tank, in between the tanks.
Sort of like stand up and start moving around the edge of the case. I think there's something on the floor over.
And you'll see that just a little bit wet, sitting there in that puddle. It's actually like almost looks like a postcard, but you will pick it up and you will see that it is a tarot card with your image worked into it. And you'll notice that the edge is slightly scorched. Like this card is clearly old.
And I think Johnny just like cuts off mid-sentence, and you see him staring down at something that he's holding, sort of in a fugue.
Scarlet?
I think just like she did when she was looking at the picture of the face that he had drawn, she steps beside him and she looks at his card. She goes, "Oh, we all have one of those. Is this yours?" "It is."
Wait, you have one too?
Mm-hmm.
And Scarlet, whereas yours looks like fresh and clean, just made, Johnny's is clearly worn, like it's been held in a pocket or something for a long time, and certainly suffered some damage.
And she goes, "Did you have this before everything happened?"
I feel like I did. Like, I forgot about it until now. Why is it down here? It shouldn't be down here.
"You don't remember this place?"
No, God, I feel like I would remember something like this.
"It doesn't make any sense." And she goes, "Why would you remember it?"
Well, I know a lot of people don't talk about it, but I don't talk about last year because I don't really remember a lot of it.
"But you remember a face. You remember this card now. You just need to see more of the things to realize what was there. But what is this?" And she'll sort of take the card out of your hand and put it in your pocket.
Scarlet,
He
do you
looks
want
up
to?
around.
Oh,
Yeah, he just looks up around. He sort of comes back to himself as he takes the card out of his feet.
Scarlet, are you trying to study the room, or are you trying to
Yes.
comfort? Okay.
Yes,
Let's
I
have you
think
roll.
for study. Let's see here. We'll see how many other things of my, how about curiosity?
Okay.
All right, so I'm rolling 2d6 and adding 1. 6.
Do you want to burn a bond?
Oh, goodness. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I will burn a bond with Johnny because I want to impress Johnny. At least figure something out.
Let me tell you something, and then I'll let you ask a question or declare a detail. You will notice that there are 20 of these aquariums, let's call them. Not water coffins, but there are 20 of them here. And you notice that they are numbered with Roman numerals.
All right.
Now you may ask your question or declare your detail.
And what else in the school is 20 significant for?
There are always 20 students in every class. It's like you recall that 20 is like if they have a large group, it's almost always broken up into 20s.
She'll turn to Johnny because there's enough room for an entire class here.
Oh. I think Johnny is, as you like point out the numbering and stuff, he moves over towards number 12 and like leans down and is just putting his hand on it.
You would think that the water would be cold, but it's warm, even though the room is really cold.
I think he sort of rubs his hand and then just like sticks it deeper down into the water, sort of feeling for anything at the bottom of the,
Oh, you can see perfectly.
let's say, aquarium.
Yeah, you can see perfectly clearly into this. Do you want to make a study, Roof?
Sure. Let's go with water.
That seems appropriate.
Even with the +2, that's a 6.
You want to burn a bond?
Or do you want to take the fail?
I'm sort of tempted to take the fail. Scarlett's here to study. I'm here to make messes.
Then I think you will have a flashback and mark water. And you have a flashback to drowning. We get a flashlight to the picture of the pond with the awry that's in the book, and the pond that's out front. And then we get a flash to you in one of these tanks, and that sort of pushing and realizing that there's a lid on the tanks, and thrashing and looking around and seeing other people in these other tanks, and a figure leaning over the tank that you recognize that face. And then you kind of collapse.
Yeah, I think he's like down on the ground, like coughing up water out of nowhere.
So you've remembered?
What's no, that's not, that's not possible. I remember drowning, dying. These are tombs.
I think she'll crouch down in front of you with her, and she'll put like her arms around her knees, and she'll go, "You were in a coma, Johnny."
I'm not making this up.
No, I'm not saying you did. Maybe you drowned.
I didn't drown. I was drowned.
I'm going to cut on that line, I think. Takahiro, what is the worst part of detention?
The worst part is I can't intimidate the teacher into letting me leave early. I can usually get away with it with the other teachers, but this one is a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, I think that this is Miss Wreath there, who is the essentially special educator and handles quite a bit of the detention. So she knows you quite well, intimately, one might say there. And there is a bit there towards the end of that detention when the PA kind of crackles. You hear the little squawk box, and it's like, "Miss Wreath, please report to the counselor's office." And She looks up, she looks at the time, and she says, I will be back before detention is over. You will remain here, Mr. Santos.
Yeah.
And she will get up and she will head out, shuts the door.
I'm
And
gonna open the window.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're way high up.
I can make this jump. I've made
Maybe.
it before.
Kind of start to climb out the window. You'll see that, much like before, there's a silhouette that comes into the hall, that frosted glass, and kind of stands there. What do you do?
I look at the window. I look at the frosted glass. You see like Takahiro's hand kind of go for the bat for a moment and then put it back down and say, what is it? What do you want?
And you'll see the door slides open, and you will see this woman, Adana. You know that she's a friend of Johnny's. And she looks at you, and you realize that she's got essentially a wooden practice sword in her hand.
Can I help you? Does Johnny need something?
And she goes, stay away from Brandon. And she is across the room like a shot. You're still up there kind of close by the window, and she is swinging at you and like trying to knock you out the window. What do you do?
Before she gets to me, I'm laughing and I pull out my bat. Let's go!
Okay. So what do we see happen here? And again, imagine there's desks. Those table desks are all in here. It's a classic, detention classroom. We got the window open. What do we see you do?
As Takahiro pulls out the bat and screams, there's this huge gust of wind as all the windows burst open and the desks move towards the other side.
Oh, clearing the space in here. Everything goes every which way. Papers on the desk go flying. They're like petals falling from the air here in the midst of this. And she comes in and she's fast. And you're good. Like you know how to swing a bat, but you're not a swordsman, are you?
No.
And there's that first beat here where she comes in and she smacks at your hands and she hits your hands with the kendo stick, and draws you back. How do you respond? How do you try to get up to respond to her?
Ooh, I think I surprise her by, I know that the hit is coming, and instead of trying to avoid it, I take the full brunt.
That smack, you feel, the bruise forms almost immediately. What do we see of your style with the bat as you kind of circle and begin to close the distance here?
I start swinging the bat around like a circle, like it's building up in momentum. And I whisper, I'm not going to hold back, darling.
I wouldn't expect you to. She is on your scale.
Okay, I think I'm going to go for it.
So you're rolling with fire.
Let's see. 1 second. I'm just double checking. Am I in the right? Yeah, so it's fire. That's a +2. Let's see. Here we go. Ooh, okay. It's a 9. I'm gonna burn a bond.
Ooh, which bond are you burning?
Let's see. I'm gonna. I think I have, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna burn the one with. Oh, where did I put the bonds? Yeah, I'm gonna burn the one of Brandon.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
sense.
So, and she's fast, like she's doing that, quick hit coming in, kind of in that lane. Kendo strikes at you. What is the hit that you land?
I think what happens is I come in with the full force, and there's this thunderous sound as it builds up in the classroom. And I think she realizes at the last moment that I purposely missed her, and instead I hit the blackboard behind her, but it's strong enough that it throws her as the blackboard shatters all around her.
Let me ask you a question here. You've got a choice. You can show mercy to let her go. You can show mercy just to kind of knock the weapon out of her hand and demonstrate that you have victory, or you can actually knock her out.
Yeah, I'll just knock the weapon out of her hand. Let it spin towards the other side.
It actually flies, and even though it's a kendo stick, it impales into the wall. And she kind of steps back, mark XP.
Oh, nice.
And she looks at you, glowering. What do you say to her?
And I smile and I say, sweetheart, there's a reason why Brandon chose me.
And she kind of holds her hand and withdraws out of here, clearly hurt, like she's clearly going to the school nurse. And she steps out, and you're like, that was awesome, right? How do we know that Takahiro dug that?
I think Takahiro waits until she leaves to the door. He's still posing. Then he goes, yes, I was so cool.
And then I think we see the door open. And I think we see Miss Wreath.
Well, shit.
And she looks around, probably as the last little bit of blackboard falls off and kind of to the floor.
I'm gonna dive for the window.
Okay. I think we see that sort of Utena style where the teacher is shouting after you, Mr. Santos, as you leap down out of here. I want to cut forward, if I may, to this reception that evening. Does that sound okay? And I think there is the chairman's, they have a house. It's a mansion for the chairman. And we will see everyone gathered there. We of course, see the various students that we've seen as NPCs. We probably, in shadow, because we haven't necessarily seen them yet, see some of the other council members. We definitely see Brandon. We definitely see Rudra, and of course Kamal, the various teachers there as well. And the food is being served. Students, there's probably right now, the swing choir is doing a little song there. They've got music and things. So I want to go around quickly. How are each of you dressed? Cass, what do we see when we first see you on screen?
I think that Cass has opted for something a little bit more grown up, a little bit more professional. So it looks a little bit like riding clothes, but with extra frills. So, there's the jacket and it's got pleats and frills underneath it. And then the sleeves have aristocratic cuffs and a cravat and everything like that. And their hair's done up in a big tall bun on the back of his head.
And Johnny, how are you dressed?
Johnny is dressed in all black, like black turtleneck, black pants, belt with way too many grommets in it, and the pants are like tucked into combat boots that are like half laced up and half sort of laying open.
And you definitely see your friend Adama, Adoma, however we're saying that, with her hands wrapped up. Scarlett, how are you dressed?
In red velvet. Yeah, absolutely. Like a princess.
Okay. Long flowing dress?
Not maybe waltz legs. You know,
Okay.
it's so she can fight if she needs to.
And Takahiro, how are you dressed for this event?
I think the camera pans and surprisingly Takahiro's hair is like slicked back and he's in this like overly tight tux, like with the broad shoulders, like a clamp boy basically. And like you can tell he's uncomfortable in it, but as the camera pans downwards, it's a crop top.
Nice. You can tell that they're kind of like the teachers have been sort of, and various staff there have been kind of hesitating, and you get the sense that they're waiting for the chairman to arrive. In the time before he arrives, Cass, do we see you mingling? Is there anyone you're particularly talking to? One of your dorm mates or another NPC? Someone you want to establish? What do we see? You're weirdly muted.
Yeah. Double buttons. I think that we see Cass kind of sidle, like they're holding like, the most like beautiful little like cake, but then like slides across the table and like stands next to Brandon, because why not? Let's throw myself into this cocktail of disaster.
Brandon kind of looks at you. You're
Cassian Burncastle, sophomore.
oh yes, you're in the same dorm as Johnny.
Yes, indeed. We're actually roommates.
Oh, see him kind of pause. He's clearly taken slightly aback by that. And how do you find things there?
Well, it's certainly an adjustment. I was in the first dorm before, and I was only recently moved and have settled in. It's surprising, actually. I kind of thought that building was a haunted house, but...
There are lots of rumors of things. That's what we hear.
Well, every school needs a couple of good legends.
Do you want to try and read him? Do you want to try and impress him? What's your goal here?
I want to impress him.
Okay. Then let's have you do hearts and minds for him to notice you.
Okay. I think that this is a very calculated thing, so I think this is metal, which is my +2. So that's a 6, and I'm gonna burn a bond. I'm burning a bond with Johnny because this is very much me trying to ingratiate myself into Johnny's relationships. So that's gonna push that to a 7.
And I think that he does, like, clearly you've gotten under his skin by mentioning that you're roommates with Johnny. Like, that clearly bothers him. There's something about that clearly makes him nervous. And I think you can write in a bond with Brandon.
So yeah, I'm gonna, like, very nonchalantly, acting as if I haven't noticed at all, saying like, "Yes, we're settling in rather nicely." It's interesting because I do seem to understand he was your classmate before, and now he's my classmate.
He says, well, he got sick and fell behind. Not that his academics were ever anything to write home about, if he even has a home.
Well, I'm sure that he views the school as a second home or a first home, if that may be the case.
Perhaps. I must speak to some of the other council members. And he heads off, and you see him go and talk to one of the other shadowy council members we haven't yet seen. Daryl, what is this council member we haven't seen? What's their name?
Oof, okay. Their name is Jareth.
Jareth.
Mhm.
All right. And we'll let you find a picture for Jareth. And you see Brandon clearly kind of defers to Jareth, but there is that moment where they're kind of talking, and Brandon is clearly talking about you, and there's that they kind of gesture back, and they both kind of look at you and then go back into hushed conversation. Scarlett, what do we see you doing?
I think that you see her step up just behind Rudra. She goes, thank you.
Rudra turns around. Oh yes. Oh, absolutely. Oh, you look magnificent.
So do you.
He's dressed in a very handsome suit, clearly money invested in it. He says, I've heard that they're actually going to open the dance floor a little later.
I was hoping so. Would it be too forward of me to ask if you would dance with me?
No. Like he's overly eager there. And he says, so the new dorm, huh?
Yeah. And she goes, we're still trying to figure it out.
And who else is there?
There's only 4 of us. Myself, Takahiro, Cass, and Johnny.
I think I know them.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely know Takahiro.
Yes, it's hard to ignore Takahiro, isn't it?
Absolutely. So what is it you want from Rudra? Do you want to get something out of him? Do you want to move your bond? What do you think? He's definitely is putty in your hands.
I think that I'm trying to figure out why it is that Cass asked about him. So I'll say, don't you know Cass though?
Let's have you roll study.
All right. I will roll with curiosity again. So I'm adding 1. I would like to have a decent roll, but I don't expect much. Oh, I got an 8. So
You have 1 hold. Do you want
Yes.
to declare a detail, or do you want to ask a question?
I think I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Can I ask it of Cass rather than you?
Sure. I think that's fair. If Cass wants to answer it.
Cass, what sense of you does Rudra have? What is his answer?
I think he says something along the lines of Cass likes to act like nothing bothers him, but I know that there's like a soft spot in there. You just have to go digging for it. And I identify with that.
And yeah, I think she does. And she says, but Cass is steely too.
And he kind of looks over at Cass and the frills and so on and says, "It'll be hard to tell, wouldn't it?"
I think that's the idea.
Everyone hides themselves here.
She opens her eyes like really wide, like, not me.
I'm going to cut from that to Johnny. What are you doing?
I think I would go find Adoma.
Okay.
And ask her if she wants to / drag her out to the sort of dance floor of the ballroom.
Absolutely. I mean, you can certainly grab her, though she does, pull back from one of her hands is wrapped up there.
Rough day.
Sidelong glance, and then something like that.
I wanted to get a chance to talk to you today, and this is all sort of going on as they're spinning through whatever sort of waltzy type dance that's going on. It's been hard getting back into the swing of things,
I imagine so.
It's just everything feels familiar but new again. That sort of feeling, right?
She kind of goes, yeah, I know that sort of feeling, yes.
And everything's just so chaotic and swirling at this point in the year. It almost feels like I'm drowning sometimes. Like you're just swirling in a world of chaos and you can see the calm on the other side of the glass. You're just banging at the glass and trying to work your way out of it. You know that feeling, right?
Do you want to roll study here?
Yeah. Trying to force something out of her, shake something loose.
Okay.
Somehow I just replaced my marked water stat with just the word let's change that. This is metal. This is his idea of careful calculation and 3D chess level movements here.
Absolutely. Let's have you roll.
It's fine. It's cool. That's just a 4. It's pretty close. That's almost there, right?
And I think that, and Takahiro, I'm going to come back to you on this, but I need to set up a thing and then we'll do this. I think that the music stops and we'll see the doors open and we'll see 2 figures come in. One of them is the essentially director of security, Captain Wintz. She is there. She's a short, white-haired woman. And you see with her is this fairly young-looking person who is definitely the face from your drawings and the face who looked over you. And you see Captain Wintz goes, "The chairman has arrived." Why don't you mark that stat for me?
Super. Yeah. I mean, you don't need many stats to play this game with, right? It's fine.
No, you're all good. But I do think you kind of stagger back from that, and And
Oh yeah, and like through this whole thing, I think Johnny had been like weirdly graceful and good at this dancing for him, and it just ends in like a tangled foot nightmare as he sort of trips and almost falls to the ground.
And I think there's that moment where the chairman has kind of walked across, people have moved, where he just glances down at you dismissively and keeps going. Takahiro, what are you up to?
I think I'm behind Johnny, and as he stumbles around, I catch him.
Okay.
And I say, "Hey, buddy, are you okay?"
Sorry, my computer froze up for just a second there. What'd you say?
I said, "Hey, buddy, are you okay?"
Yeah, I'm fine. I just, sorry, Dom. You know, maybe I should go sit down for a minute.
Hey, come on, let's dance. And I'm trying to comfort and support you through my crop top dancing.
Absolutely. Are you a good dancer or are you a white dancer?
I think when you see Takahiro approach the floor, everybody's ready for bad dancing, but he's surprisingly really good at it.
Nice. Let's have you roll comfort and support. What do you want to roll that with?
I'm going to, as we dance, I think Takahiro is trying to joke around, trying to cheer up. Johnny, like, he doesn't understand what happened, but he knows something happened. So I'm gonna roll with fire. That's a +2. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're good at.
Okay, 7.
Okay. So Johnny, do you accept the help?
Yeah.
Then would you like to clear an element, or would you like to get a bond?
I think Johnny feels very in danger right now, so I'd like to clear my style element metal.
Perfect.
As he again takes the opportunity to lean in close and have a conversation with you that people can't overhear. He says, "The chairman, I don't know why. He's dangerous. He's dangerous, though. You can't trust him. He's out to get us."
And Takahiro just looks at you in the eyes and says, "Okay, I believe you. I'll protect you."
Okay, yeah, we need to find out what he's up to, right?
Yeah, let's go.
It's way easier than Johnny was planning for.
So Takahiro is like, "Oh, you're in trouble? I'll help you. Let's go." And you see there's the indentation of a bat behind the back of the tux.
Good, let's get out of sight.
Yeah,
Sort
come
of
on. And
drags you off the dance floor.
And says, no, here, hold my hand so we don't lose track of each other.
Okay. Oh, you're muted.
Can we maybe cross paths, like have the four of you weirdly go, find yourselves in sort of a darkened thing, as at this point various teachers are bowing and presenting themselves to the chairman, and he's mingling. He's clearly going to make a speech, but this is before that. Cass, Scarlet, you've kind of fallen back, and your paths have crossed, and you see Johnny and Takahiro kind of weirdly, Takahiro is kind of dragging him by the hand, dragging Johnny over to a slightly darkened area, and we see the four of you come together.
And what kind of trouble are you two getting into?
Oh, we're gonna off the chairman.
What? No, we're just gonna what? I mean, maybe.
Oh, we're not? Okay. You said he's dangerous.
Well, yeah, but we're just gonna look into. I mean, we might have to like fight or destroy. But that wasn't my first thought.
Well, we just need to. Johnny said he's bad, and we have to do something about it.
You absolutely cannot do anything to the chairman before the literature club has delivered their performance. I forbid it.
No, you don't understand. We're in danger. We're in danger from him. He's like evil or murderous or something. I can't entirely remember.
But you drew his face.
Yeah, see? I drew his face.
Okay, but that sounds a little bit more like you might have a crush on him, not that he's evil.
No. I drew his face and then I was drowning and he was like drowning me on the other side of the glass.
This sounds like that ghost story.
It's not a... Look, I'm telling you, something's up here. He's got some plan for us or for the students or something, and I don't understand, but we need to stop it. It's dangerous.
Yeah. Cass, we need your help. We can't do this without you.
You are our greatest strategic mind.
I still have not seen anything that convinces me that the chairman is in any way whatsoever responsible for any misdeeds.
You're right. We need evidence. We need to break into his office while he's distracted by you said your club was doing some performance or something.
Oh, yeah, good idea, Cass. Good idea.
No, that is not my idea. And A, it's a poetry reading. And B, I did not recommend that we break in anywhere.
Yes, poetry. That'll like drone on for a while and keep everybody sort of mesmerized and bored, right?
Cass, you're the best.
So Cass just like looks back and forth between all of you. And then just without even kind of like being that well observed, like takes off a glove and then smacks Johnny across the face with it and says, I will not have you ruin this for my club. I don't even believe any of this. And I will not have you continue with this insanity. I challenge you to a duel. And if you win, I'll do what you want. But if I win, you'll drop all of this.
Oh, fine. Yeah, let's do this. This has been way too long coming.
And I think, of course, you're by curtains and the big tall windows that kind of open up and you can walk out into the massive balcony there. And of course, because they've been watching Agatha and Christy like come and like pull the curtains so that other people can't see that this is happening. As the two of you step out into the night. Cass, what does it look like when you take out your weapon?
Yeah, so we haven't really established if this is like magic duels or anything like that. So I think,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Is it just like one of those things where it's like everybody just kind of accepts that when a duel happens, like reality kind of like warps?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's one of those things where I love those ideas of the curtains blowing, and so like a breeze comes and the curtain flares, and then like Team Rocket style, like Cass just pulls their like riding outfit off, and then they're like there in like the like absolute battle dress apocalypse, and it's like a thing where like a little spark kind of appears between their fingers, and he like just kind of like rolls it back and forth, and it gets longer and longer, and all of a sudden with a spin, it just becomes a scythe.
And Johnny, what do we see? How do you get your stance ready?
So I think as Cass is going through the full like magic girl everything, he's just standing there with like one eyebrow cocked, smiles in sort of a crooked way and bites his lip, and like as a trickle of blood droops down his chin, smears it across his chin in his hand. He says, that thing's not going to help you at all. And just runs forward like bloody fist leading.
And I think as you step forward, that's the point at which the world turns upside down. And you will find yourself having to grab onto tables, chairs, whatever is out there on the balcony as the two of you are going at each other, having to swing across, hanging, suspended, upside down. So this is a PvP duel. You are the challenger, Cass. So you get to make the initial offer on this of what you want. What are you offering to have Johnny let you win?
So I don't have any XP to offer, but I will offer 2 bonds with Cass that you can pull for any favor that does not directly involve going against the chairman. Like, I'll help you with whatever you want. I'll help you study. I'll help you like spelunk through tunnels I don't know about. Whatever it is that does not mess with my performance, that's going to happen, because I am the one who's giving the recital and I'm the one who's going to be the star of the show.
Johnny, now you get to accept, decline, or make a counteroffer. Making a counteroffer also is declining.
So, no, I don't. Johnny really wants to cause some trouble right now. This chairman is dangerous. So I would make you a counter offer of get one of your underlings to give the poetry reading. Come help us. I'll offer you 2 bonds and move out of the room.
Cass, you can accept or decline.
Oh, it's so tough. Okay. The conflict in my heart is the one that's happening on the dueling arena. I think I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So, Johnny, I'm going to let you kind of do the setup to describe what this looks like as you're kind of like almost monkey barring, swinging along to come at Cass, and then I'm going to have Cass describe the conclusion. Okay. So, what do we first see from you with your fisticuffs and acrobatics here?
So we're both sort of thrown off by gravity and everything working weirdly. Johnny is hanging on to one of the tables, sort of getting his balance. And I think as he sees like Cass struggling for a moment to balance, hanging on to the side and making sure that the whole outfit is still working with everything. Johnny sort of smiles and swings himself up to where he's like crouching on the underside of a table, and then just launches out and dives at Cass to try and throw him off of his perch and knock him to the sky ground.
And Cass, what do we see of you? How do you get taken out?
Yeah, so this whole dive bomb tackle move ends up actually bowling both of us over the ledge. But as this happens, the rose that had appeared on my chest, it's just this close up of like your hand like gripping it and tearing it. And in that instant, like gravity rights itself, and we like do this strange spin in the air, and then somehow we land where you're standing victorious and I've landed in your arms. And it's like, it's very like, and like, you know, like the bells from the clock tower in the distance start ringing, and like everything like fades away, and then like my clothes go back to like the outfit I was wearing, and all like my scythe disappears and everything, and I'm just there like flustered and staring up at you.
Yeah, and I think that there is this sort of like long moment as Johnny's caught up in it too, and he's just like staring back down at you before he comes to himself, realizes what's going on, like awkwardly stands up to push you away and be like, yeah, so yeah, we're gonna do it.
And I think Scarlet, Takahiro, you would have seen the change. Like you would have grabbed onto the edge of the door frame and like also been affected by this. But you can tell that Agatha and Christy, like, they didn't see any of it. For them, they saw this fight, and you see them gasp as they run over to help Cass, and you know, oh, he cheated, you know, they're and they're trying to help you up. They knew that there was a duel, like they know that you lost, but something has clouded it overall for them.
There was no cheating. It was a fair win. Christy, Agatha,
Yes.
I need you to recite the poem for the performance tonight.
But you spent all afternoon.
Don't question me. We knew that this might have happened. I need you to recite it in the AB formation that we rehearsed just in case.
Yes. And I think we'll see the four of you come back in, and we see the chairman is speaking. Clearly, like it's been a bit of the speech that he's already given off camera, but he continues on. So I will be taking my father's place as the chairman. There will be changes this year, changes and final decisions for various things as to the destiny of the school. And I think you all will be dealt in. I want to take 5, and then we're going to come back to our caper.
Nice.
So we just had a big scene with Cass and Johnny. So let's come to Takahiro and Scarlet. So what do we see you doing either during or in the aftermath of this? What do we want? Let's start with Takahiro.
I think Takahiro the whole time was like, "What? Why are my friends fighting?" So Takahiro's like looking towards Scarlet. What? We have to do something before, like, but it's over so quickly before Takahiro can even do anything. But
Scarlet?
I think Scarlet goes to Cass and says, "We really can't do this without you, Cass."
I'm a man of my word. I lost, so I'll help.
I would not usually celebrate a loss for you, but tonight I do. How are we going to break in? And she turns to everyone else and her eyes are sparkling.
So
Takahiro will take a, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go on. No, go on.
Takahiro will take a moment to like pull Cass aside and go to him. I mean, I'm not good at this stuff, but is there something I can do so that you'll feel better?
Are you attempting to comfort and support me?
I'm a good boy, himbo. So
I think that
oh, go on.
I think that if you were to maybe just like, place a hand on his shoulders, because his shoulders are kind of like up and tight and trembling a little bit, like hates losing. So yeah, if it was even just like that moment of like physical like comfort, I think that's all it would need.
Yeah, for sure. I think Takahiro does that, and he's trying to give you a brave smile, but you can see there are tears in his eyes welling up too. And then it's an 11. What a good, effective hand. It's exactly the right pressure, the right moment.
So the choices are bonds, clearing elements. You each get to do that. What do you want, Takahiro? Do you want to? You don't have an element, so you're going to create a bond with Cass for yourself.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to look at Cass and say, I really learned something from you today. You're really strong.
You see like Cass doesn't acknowledge what you said, but you feel like the tension kind of ease out of their shoulders a little bit. And like he lingers for just a moment and allows that comfort. And then you kind of feel him like stand a little taller. And that's going to be me clearing a bond, or not a bond, clearing an element. So.
Okay. Johnny, nobody comes over to congratulate you. Nobody comes over to comfort you. The cheese stands alone.
It's fine though. Like, I know how awesome I am, and I don't even need them.
So what do you do to take charge? You're the one who wants to do this.
I think everybody's like huddled up and variously like hugging and patting shoulders, whispering comfort. And Johnny just, this event's not going to last forever. We need to get going.
Yes, of course. And it's time to keep my end of the deal. And so like, just kind of like, you don't even, it's as if they have been thinking about this for like days already. Cass just starts to like rattle off like, this is the overall floor plan of the chairman's chairman's official building. There are 3 different elevators that could get us up to the top floor where the chairman's residence is. And I happen to have an in with somebody because I'm going to try to I took a move when I leveled up, which was Face of an Angel. So a +1 ongoing when interacting with authority figures. And it's I'm sure that I can sweet talk whoever happens to be at the watching over the doors.
Then I think that we kind of cut. We see a shot of the chairman maybe as you move through, just kind of notes, doesn't see you leave, but notes your presence. I think that's probably the moment where the camera lingers on the little button he has on his lapel. That's an XXI as he moves on. You will, do you think this is in the same building, or do you have to cross over to another building? What do you think, Cass?
I actually like the idea that we're in the chairman's hall is actually also the chairman's residence at the top floor.
So I think this is going to be an overcome, but with your bonus, because you are going to have to talk to adults here.
Cool. So, and since this is all about firing off a plan, I'm also going to use my metal. So that's going to be a +3 all told.
Ooh.
I want to burn this room.
Oh no, what happened?
You rolled D2s.
No.
Wait.
Oh, you did, yes.
Oh,
good.
okay. That's why I've been failing so miserably the entire time.
Oh no,
my
the whole
God.
session.
The entire session. Okay. That makes sense.
Oh
Hold on.
no. Oh, no.
Sherry did that, but with a game she needed to roll low in, so.
It was the first box, and I completely got you.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing. Okay. So I have an 8. And you know what? I'm actually going to burn 2 bonds. Wait, can I burn 2 bonds with Johnny to push it up to the 10?
Yeah.
Yeah. The resentment is palpable because I should have been the one to deliver the I should have been the one to deliver the poetry monologue today. But that makes it a 10.
I also love that Cass just refuses to have any lingering connections with Johnny. Burn him off immediately.
There you go.
And I think there's that bit where you go out and you kind of come and you talk to some adults, and eventually you get to Captain Wince, who, she's about 5'1", and she's kind of staying there fidgeting, but she does know you, Cass, a little bit, and she's like, Burncastle, wasn't it?
Yes, Miss Wince. I'm so sorry to bother you. I know you're so busy, but the chairman seems to have left some important letters up in the residence, and he's asked me to go get them.
All right. She says, use the blue elevator.
Of course. Thank you so much for everything you've done tonight, and I'll be right back.
Sure. And I think as you're talking to her, we see in the background the 3 of them across the thing there before you head over to the elevator. And again, ornate elevator. It will open. All of you will get in, and you will rise up to this office floor. Round room, beautiful curved windows, beautiful oak desk, papers and things all around here. It's super, super quiet up here. None of the music from a couple floors below even reaches up to this floor. So Johnny, what do you do? You strike me as a kind of intellectual investigative powerhouse.
He's definitely the man with a plan all the time. Knows exactly what's happening. And so he very confidently says back over his shoulder as he's walking forward, like, look for anything suspicious, like try and find hidden things. And he is heading directly for, even though he doesn't know where that is, but he's heading looking for like student files. Like if I can find the files on myself and the students from last year, obviously it will just tell me everything that happened.
Let's have you roll study. What do you want to roll that with?
Let's go with fire. This is, creativity and just following leaps of logic, and obviously we need to get this done quickly.
Yeah.
So, no, that's 8 plus 1 is 9.
So you have one hold. You can ask a question, or you may declare a detail.
So it's a basic setup. Do I find what do I find in the way of student files or something?
Can I help him? I want Johnny to succeed.
Sure. Do you want to do the comfort and support to boost this up? Okay. Then let's have you roll, because if you mess up, that'd be delicious.
I know, and it's highly possible. Sorry, Johnny. So it's my dice. This
So
may go terribly
we'll
awry.
put a pin in your question, Johnny.
Okay. And so I'm rolling 2D. I'm adding wood, 1 for curiosity. 4.
I'm going to put a pin in that.
So glad I have my team with me.
So Johnny, I think what we're going to do is we're going to resolve Cass and Takahiro, and then I'm going to pull my hard move on Scarlet. So Johnny, I think that since you asked me rather than saying, I think you will find very little in the way, except for you will find a list of names that has your name on it, that has Brandon's name on it, that has the chairman's name on it. Like you look, and it's like a list of 21 students.
Did the chairman look like he could be that young?
He looked pretty young. Yeah, he might be your age. Takahiro, how are you investigating?
So you see Takahiro crawling like a worm and knocking on the floorboards, like, hello? Like, should we look for a dumbwaiter? Is there another dumbwaiter here?
Let's have you roll study.
Sure. I could be an idiot, Savant. It could happen.
Yeah.
You know? I'm gonna I think it makes sense. I'm using Earth. I'm trying to be calm about this. Okay. Rolling. I got an 8.
Then you have one hold to ask a question or declare a detail.
How bad do I want to be? I think Takahiro is knocking on the floorboards, but then they get close to the table, and then they accidentally push against one of those statue heads that's like on the desk, and then by the desk it opens up, and there's a glass coffin that's unnumbered, that's full of rose petals.
Does it kind of open and rise up out of the floor? Or is it, okay. So we see that come, no water in it, just rose petals filling it. Cass, what are you doing?
Cass is looking through all of the books in the bookcases, literature club. I know what to look for, that kind of thing. So Yeah, I think that this happens before the coffin comes up, just in case I want to try and find something. So
Sure.
this is, I'm going to do also metal again
Okay.
as my study. And I'm rolling with D6s this time. And I still got a 6. Oh my God.
You want to burn a bond?
Yeah, I'm going to burn a bond with Brandon to make that a 7.
So you have one hold to ask a question or declare a detail.
Okay, so there are a number of named volumes, 19 volumes to be exact. And as I pull one down and I flick through it, I realize it's a yearbook, and it seems to be a yearbook from this year. Well, this year, I guess, because there's like all of our pictures in it, mine and Johnny's and Takahiro's and Scarlett's. And then I put it back and I pull down another one, and it's almost exactly the same, except there'll be 1 or 2 people that are different. And then I put it back and I pull another one, and it's almost exactly the same, but a couple of people are different each time. And then I even find one where I'm not there and someone else is in my place.
What's your reaction to these obvious forgeries?
Obvious forgeries, yes. Seems like an awful lot of work. What an elaborate prank. Plus, this photo is atrocious. But there's something that claws at me. There's some weird thing. It's almost like, how long have I been here? Like, I've only been here like a year now, right?
And Scarlett, you're kind of watching the door, kind of looking around and watching the door. And then it is kicked in. And you step back, like you're not in the actual office. You're kind of in the anteroom to the office, and you're knocked back, and you see this figure come in, wielding a staff, and you see Kem,
Oh.
and that staff is kind of flickering and glowing, and as he walks, he is kind of crackling, and he's like, I challenge you. And he holds out a letter, throws it at you, and it falls to the ground, and you see it has your name and his name on it.
Does it look familiar at all?
No.
Do I have that opportunity to pick it up and look at it?
You can grab it up, but he is
Okay.
coming at you.
Oh, all right. So I like that. Essentially, there she is in her party dress, and she puts her hands up, and she has like these 2 bracelets, and they're clearly platinum. They're set with like little diamonds and everything on them, but they're actually pretty chunky chains. And when she does this, you can see that they're actually like, when she does this, they're like bound like handcuffs. She reaches down and pulls them apart like that, and it's her 2 swords, and they're platinum swords that, she's ready with.
And I'm going to have the others kind of help set the scene. Cass, how does this room change? Now we see this battle between Kem and Scarlett. So what is the change in the appearance here of the room?
So the ceiling that was already very high just seems to grow taller and taller. And since you're both student council members, a giant figure of like Lady Justice, a giant statue of it, appears to float in the abyss as things start to go weird.
And Takahiro, what does Kim's outfit look like? Oh, you might be frozen. I think Takahiro is frozen. We will give them a second. Oh, there you go.
Yay,
Back.
Takahiro. Okay.
Takahiro, you were frozen for a moment.
Yeah, my Zoom's acting up. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. What does Kim's outfit look like?
Yeah, I think this is surprisingly like a flashy version of what he usually wears of the school uniform. Like everything is over the top, like the material and the design, but like it's all these subtle changes, like a battle dress, basically.
Yeah, the uniform kind of changes. He has a little. Some of the students wear little short cloaks, and his gets longer in this. And Johnny, what's the other weird detail happening in the space of this room as this duel starts?
So I think as the room gets taller and the windows in here get taller and taller, they let in like this like intense blue light from the moon shining down in here.
Yeah, magnified.
And as it falls on the floor around the two of them, it sort of lights up like iridescent inlays in the floor, and just underneath where Scarlet is standing, this large like icon of a crown is lit up, and I think underneath Kim there's this swirling figure of a snake under him.
Nice. And Scarlet, what kind of flower do you have on your lapel when this happens?
I do think it's a rose, but it's sort of got a shimmer to it. It almost looks like it's enameled, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So unlike the natural ones, it has a very like bejeweled and strange enamel sheen to it.
And I like the idea because this is the anteroom, and all of this has happened that there's actually windows have formed so that the others in the other room can see the fight as this is going on, but can't get to it. So that Takahiro, Johnny Cash, you can see this happen. Scarlet, I'm going to ask you this question.
All right.
Is he on your scale or above your scale?
I think he's on my scale,
Okay.
and this is a push for him to become above my scale. This is what it is for him.
He is spinning that staff around, it's coming in hard, pressing. You've got those two swords, they're light. He's relying just on force and getting that momentum. He does that leap up and brings it down, Journey to the West, a monkey style on it. He hits and bends and then he flies back. So let's have you roll duel when you duel with someone on your scale.
Okay. I have not had a good roll all night, so I expect this to happen, but we are adding 2 to whatever this is. Oh, I got a 10. Oh.
So tell me how you turn the tables. Tell me how you beat him.
I think one of the things is that she does have that sort of skirt, like essentially her dress is very flowing and everything. And whenever he strikes what she's wearing as opposed to her. And while it all tears away, she's still whirling. And then there's that final thing where he tries to swing sort of at her waist length to at least like knock her off, when she just sort of runs at him and slides under the staff and comes down. And I think, wow. I think that she drives like both of the blades like into his shoes. Like she's not trying to hit his feet, but like to pin him in place. And the blades actually go into the floor.
Okay.
So that he's held, in that way. And then she's sort of like right behind him.
Do you grab that
I
tulip.
grab the flower off of his
Just
thing. She reaches around from behind him and grabs it.
Yeah, he's like trying to pull his feet up, grabs on, and the world collapses back in on itself, and he's thrown backwards and hits those front doors of the office and goes out and makes a huge amount of noise. And he's laying out unconscious out in the hallway now. Staff is gone.
I look back towards the other three and I go, oops.
We gotta run.
So are you doing anything before you flee the office? Because we've got this coffin that's up, those books. What are you doing? What do you want to do, Johnny?
The coffin. Yeah, I think like as the world folds back in, I see that coffin there for the first time, and Johnny just like freaks out and comes over to Takahiro. Go, what? Where did this come from? What did you do?
It was the statue's fault. We should check what it is. We should, before someone comes. I'll go in. And like Takahiro dives for the coffin.
Oh no!
And Takahiro dives into the coffin and vanishes beneath the petals, Johnny.
I think that's inner conflict.
Hey!
Like I don't.
Hey, what's going on up there?
I'm terrified of drowning in a coffin, but I don't want to lose Takahiro.
Let's have you roll.
Fire, passion.
Okay.
Let's do this. That's a 6.
I think you stagger back. You can't. That coffin is just too much. Mark your fire. And I think you stagger back. And I think that's the point at which you'll feel the hand on your shoulder. You've kind of staggered back and clearly an adult. But in the meantime, while that's going on, Cass, what are you doing?
So I see Johnny and Takahiro messing around with a giant glass casket. And I'm like, not for me. This is above my pay grade. This is not what I agreed to. I got them in. I did my duty. I've fulfilled my promises. It's time for me to go. I run, not realizing I still have one of the yearbooks with me.
Absolutely.
And catch Scarlet by the sleeve on the ground and also yank her after me. Because, like, she's my bestie, even though she steals my men.
Are you going along with that, Scarlett?
I think she does, but as they run past Kem, she goes, make them call you Kamal and I'll fight you again. And then keeps running.
And you two run, disappear back down a set of stairs as Captain Wince has her hand on your shoulder, Johnny, and kind of pulls you. You see her reach and, stronger than she looks, lifts up Kem and says, you two are in big trouble.
Because as she's dragging us out, Johnny is just like grabbing at her wrist, going, no, you don't understand. Takihiro's gone. You don't understand.
And I think that is where we're going to leave off today. 3 points XP. I do like the image of Takahiro leaping into the coffin and the disappearing beneath the petals.
Like it's all very slow-mo.
Yeah. Yes. So if you don't mind, we'll do a quick stars and wishes as well, so I can make some notes. I tried to get most of the things that you had as wishes last time onto the table tonight. I missed one. I didn't give Takahiro a chance to scare people.
Oh, but that's okay. I got lots of good stuff today.
So let's go in the same order as we did at the start. Patrick, stars, wishes?
Let's see. Wishes, a layout. I picked up a new move in here from the transfer student. as just the new kid when you ask someone a pointed question while feigning ignorance. And that's sort of like, I think that's what I was trying to do with, is it Adoma, is that her?
Yeah.
Earlier in the session. So having learned from my mistakes, maybe I want to try and push on that further next time.
Okay.
I also think wish for myself is I sort of need to sit down and remember some of the lessons I learned from like Worldwide Wrestling and give these duel scenes a bit more weight and story. I felt like I sort of shortchanged my part of the fight with Cass, and I regretted it after seeing like Takahiro and Scarlett's battles, where I was like, oh, this isn't a blow by blow, this is let's tell a story and the whole arc sort of thing. But Stars, this was super cool and fun and mysterious, like all of the whispered hints from people that know more than us, and the weird glass coffins, and like I'm so glad we got to do a heist here into the office. Let's see, Jamie, Takahiro is just delightfully like, he's so ready to fight and ready to hug just all at the same time, and it's just adorable. And Sherry, I'm really enjoying playing the like romantic tension back and forth. The like Johnny is coming to rely on you more and more, and just is oblivious to what that's meaning to Scarlett. And I'm just loving the like epic rivalry with Cass. We need to like figure out how the bond evolves now, because you won the roommate battle, but we obviously need to have the next battle that we're fighting. This whole session was fun.
Sherry, Stars, wishes?
I think my favorite thing of this session was to go back and realize that Cass was rolling 2d2 all the way and still wiping the floor with everyone. Yeah, no, this is wonderful. These are the characters that I wanted to play this game with. Wow, so good. Everything is, yeah, there's so much trouble to come. I really love it. I love Cass. I love, because Cass is ruthless and yet also the kindest in his own way. At least he pulls the Band-Aid off fast, right? And Johnny is absolutely lovable in the worst possible way. He's, the hurt boy. So of course that's who Scarlett runs for. And Takahiro is everyone's hero. Yeah, so good. It's just wonderful. And wishes. Gosh, I'm like inarticulate more. I kind of figured out where she's going, and so I used my level up and I bought a student handbook, which is when I attempt to change the loyalty or purpose of a worthy agent. I do think that her mode is to be more conciliatory and try to be perfect, but she wants it perfect for everyone, if that makes any sense. Which will be her downfall, but it is.
Excellent. Jamie?
Oh yeah, the session was so good. There's so much that happened for everybody that I was really happy to see. I had so much fun during the duel. I was like, oh my gosh, is Takahiro gonna roll badly? Like, I've been rolling really well up to this point. So that was really, really awesome. And I also really enjoyed that scene with Brandon. It felt so quintessential Utena in my mind. Like I could hear the music, and then Daryl typed the music in the chat. It's like, oh my gosh. So it was really great. Yeah, there was so much good stuff that happened. I also really like that scene between Johnny and Scarlett finding out more and all of it coming to head in the heist. I'm really looking forward to seeing how how Cass makes sure Johnny pays for what he had to go through. So, but it was really good. So many good things. In terms of wishes, yeah, it's just more. That would be great. I had such a great time. I can't wait to for the next session. It was super, super good.
Awesome. And Daryl, you're muted.
Every time. I guess my first star is like to the game itself. Basically, since I got into RPGs, like an Utena RPG has been like my great white whale. So this is amazing. I'm absolutely loving every moment of it. I love the way that everyone is kind of like taking the kind of tropes from the original and like reinventing them and like making them fit our story. The special shout out to like the aquarium cemetery scene. That was so beautiful and evocative. I loved that. I also love that we're just hitting all of my favorite anime beats because now I've introduced time loops. So here we go. It's here.
Yes.
It's here. Special shout outs to just like everybody's duels were like really good and really fun and really amazing. I loved Takahiro's crop tops. Those were also fantastic. Yes, like perfect. And I kind of love like, you can tell that these people are like trying to figure out how to be friends while also trying to like pursue their own agendas. So that's fantastic as well. I think that if I have wishes, I second the more. I wish we had more time. I can't believe that next session is going to be the last one. Wait, no, there's two more.
Two more.
Oh, okay,
There's
thank
two
God.
more. I was also gonna cry when I thought we had one more. We have two more.
And then I would like to explore a little bit more of like Cass's like flirty romance part. Like so far we've seen him just Regina George all over the place, and I would love to see so like the softer side come out. So that's a personal wish for me. And then I'm very excited to learn more about the chairman. So
excellent. All good stuff. And I think then we get the post-credit scene and we see the shadowy figure and we see them draw the card and we see them, the next duel is the chariot. And they put the card down next to the hanged man on the table. And that's the end. So we'll stop recording there. Awesome. If I can get this doing that sort of circly thing. Well, thank you all.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm so
There we
used
go.
to that.
Sorry, Zoom froze there. I'm going to stop the recording now.
Okay.
And I will see everybody. Bye.